Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's James here with ProPix Canada Media Limited. And I just wanted to reach out. I'm going to start doing weekly videos here and talking about photography for beginners. Now, the biggest question that I get, or the most frequently asked question I get by people looking to get into photography, is simply, what camera should I go and buy? And that is always the same answer for me. Depending on what you're looking at doing, whether it's fashion photography, motion images, sports, there's different methods and different techniques, different equipment that you can use for each. But what is more important is looking at jumping in and getting started. So what I always suggest is take your cell phone, take your Nikon or your Canon SureShot, whatever camera you have. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be, as I said, your cell phone, and just start experimenting and playing. One of the things that I see with most beginners is that they always use the autofocus and auto settings. Now, that's fine if you're just looking to get some, snapshots of your family, your friends, some selfies and that. But what I suggest is putting it on manual mode and actually experimenting with the different shutter speeds and the ISO, and do some reading online, just basic introductory courses to photography. During these sessions each week, we will go into different information about your shutter speed, about lighting, about composition, and so forth. So we'll explain that from the beginner's level, and we'll try to get you a bit of understanding as to what settings and how you can play to not only get the best images, but also to experiment and create some artistic flair to those images. Whether it's looking at motion, whether it's looking at macro photography, whether it's looking at food shots. Again, there's different techniques that you can use in not only the composition and shutter speeds, all the different settings, but you can also play with lighting. Lighting can become essential when it is looking at setting a mood. So you can have a nice bright photo that inspires someone, that gives them an uplifting feeling. You can go with a darker lighting or more shadows on certain angles to give a darker feel to the image. And each image can tell an important story. When I am taking photos in the war zone in Ukraine, for example, or the refugee camps in Poland, as I did earlier last year, of course my settings and my lighting are going to be less optimized. So I'm not going to be able to use optimal lighting that I would like when I'm chasing after shots on the front line of a war. I have to work with what's there. So that becomes a very important point when I choose my lens, when I choose my shutter speeds, when I choose, all of the different things that go into creating those images. Sometimes, if you want to play and such, you can just go ahead and take your camera and, going against what I said earlier, go out and actually just use the auto settings, but then go into your camera and your images, go into the information file and take a look at where the shutter speed was set by the camera, where all of the other settings have been, and your lighting, and just kind of figure out what the different effects and moods that were created by that lighting or by the positioning and composition of the image. Were your eyes drawn into a certain focal point? Was the lighting taking away from a certain focal point that you wanted to enhance? So there's a lot of different things to look at. Of course, you can also play on the software end of it, but we'll talk about that much later. When you're taking your photos and you're putting them on the computer, another thing to consider is that it's much easier as you go and download or upload them, that you want to create your tags. Now, this is all a part of your digital property management. So your digital files, if you are creating the SEO links, if you're going to use them on the internet, if you're going to use them for social media or other marketing or just fun things, sharing with your friends and family, then there are different areas that you want to focus on in terms of the SEO and tags and so forth. But again, we'll get into that later. So I just want to give you an overall view or idea as to the different areas that we'll cover each week. If you have certain questions that you want answered and ideas or suggestions, you can always send images to me and then we'll discuss them in the following week's video. So if you would like some honest critique of your images, or if you have certain questions about settings or whatever it is, feel free to share that with me and we'll go over it. And other than that, again, we'll start next week and we'll post the videos and get them out to you. And again, if you have images or you want suggestions or you have certain topics that you would like to cover sooner than later, by all means, let me know and we can look at that as well. So for now, I'd like to welcome you to ProPix Canada Media's tutorial on photography for beginners. A lot of the techniques can be crossed over to videography as well. When you're trying to create moods and lighting, composition, framing, a lot of this can be crossed over, but of course that's a bit more advanced. So these again are things that you can try on your own, and that's the best way to get started, is just to get out there, get doing it, get your hands dirty and just jump into the water. It's the great world of photography, because photography is an art craft that can tell so many different stories, that can share so many different emotions, and just really be inspiring. So again, welcome to the ProPix Canada Media Photography for Beginners tutorials. And once again, if you have certain topic areas or questions, feel free to send them over on the DMs there or post in the comments below, and we'll get into that. This image behind me on the main screen behind my desk here is a fire truck. This was an action shot that was taken in Gastown, that's downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, in the old part of town with the cobblestone streets. And that was rushing to a call. And he just happened to be coming by. I had my camera, I just grabbed it, took a quick couple of quick snapshots of it as it went by, and that's where those images came from. So I'll just bring the camera closer so you can actually get a better look at the screen here. And we'll do that. I'll share some of my favorite photos and some of the other things from not only the journalism aspect, but creative and all different aspects and areas of photography and that. This one here, what I like is not only am I capturing the lighting of the truck itself, but also the reflection of the old style lighting in Gastown, the old light balls there that are reflecting in the passenger side window of the truck. If you look to the windshield, there are a couple of reflections of lights that almost look like eyes that are reflecting off the truck as well. And you really don't see the firefighters in the truck, so it looks like the truck is still, but it was actually moving at the time and driving past. So it's a nice shot that way. And as I said, the light on the cobblestone road really adds a bit to it. And in terms of the composition, you can see the way the lines are going towards the truck. It kind of draws your eyes into the main part of the image again, which is of course the Vancouver City Fire Truck. So again, send your messages, send your comments, and we'll look forward to more tutorials. We'll keep this going weekly, and if there's enough people and enough interest, maybe we'll add it more frequently than that. But for now, have a great day, and thanks for joining ProPix Canada Media's Photography for Beginners.